The world felt strangely still, almost as if holding its breath. The usual hum of the city, cars, chatter, the bustle of life, was abruptly drowned out by a harsh, static pulse that filled the air. A sharp, unrelenting noise that no one could place. The protagonist, a regular citizen in a city much like any other, was just finishing up a normal day. But everything changed when the voice came through. At first it was a jumbled mess, distorted by the static, but it became clearer with every passing second. "They're already here," the voice whispered coldly, sending a shiver down their spine. Panic didn't immediately strike. There was a momentary silence, as if time itself paused to let the words sink in. The walls of reality began to crack, and before the protagonist could make sense of it, the world around them exploded into chaos. Streets that were once full of life turned into frantic whispers of fear, as people stared at the skies in confusion. The government had already gone into full damage control, sealing off the news. But it was too late. The truth had arrived. The invasion had begun. In the aftermath of the chilling transmission, chaos unfolds in every direction. People flood the streets unsure of what to believe, but they know one thing for certain: something is coming. The government continues its frantic attempts to contain the truth, but the whispers of invasion are no longer confined to closed rooms. News outlets are overrun with emergency broadcasts, each more disorienting than the last. There are no answers, only questions. The protagonist, now at the heart of the storm, feels the weight of uncertainty press down on them. In the distance, the ever-growing hum of alien ships cuts through the air, growing louder, clearer, more terrifying. No one knows who's responsible or why this is happening, but it's undeniable. Earth has just become a pawn in a game far larger than anyone could have imagined. The protagonist tries to make sense of everything, but the world around them feels like it's spiraling out of control. They search for answers, but the more they dig, the more everything becomes clouded in lies and misinformation. The government claims it's handling the situation, but their actions speak of fear. The protagonist encounters strangers on the street, each with their own theory, but no one knows the truth. Among the crowd, the protagonist feels an overwhelming sense of isolation, realizing that this isn't just a personal battle, it's humanity's fight for survival. The weight of the situation becomes heavier with each passing hour. In their mind, one question repeats over and over: what do the aliens want, and why did they choose now? As panic spreads, the protagonist finds themselves face to face with someone they trust. It's a familiar face, but in this moment, everything is uncertain. The ally, someone they've known for years, whispers urgently, "You need to understand. They've been here before." The words send a chill down their spine. The protagonist, desperate for any sense of clarity, listens intently as their ally reveals that the invasion is not a random act. It's been planned for years, hidden in the shadows, orchestrated by forces that have long infiltrated human society. But the owl's sudden, nervous demeanor betrays them, and the protagonist feels an unsettling feeling growing inside them. Is this betrayal, or is this just the beginning of something worse? The protagonist's heart races as they digest the revelation. The truth is even darker than they could have imagined. The government isn't just hiding information about the alien invasion, they're complicit in it. Hidden factions, working in the shadows, have long been collaborating with the extraterrestrial forces. The world they thought they knew was a lie, and the betrayal runs deeper than they could have ever anticipated. The protagonist feels the weight of this new reality crashing down on them. There's no going back now. As they take in the full scope of the situation, they understand the stakes. This isn't just about survival. It's about uncovering the truth and finding out what role they're meant to play in the coming conflict. The truth begins to settle like a cold weight on the protagonist's chest. They had known something was wrong, but nothing could have prepared them for the full extent of the betrayal. As they continue their search for answers, they uncover disturbing information. Powerful factions within the government have been in league with the aliens for decades. The protagonist learns that the invasion was not an unforeseen event, it was orchestrated. The government's defenses were mere theatrics, a carefully constructed facade to keep the masses in the dark. Every time the protagonist digs deeper into this conspiracy, they discover more layers of deception. The question remains, how many of those they've trusted are actually working for the enemy? And how far does this web of lies stretch? As they connect the dots, the gravity of the situation becomes clear. Humanity's survival is no longer in the hands of its leaders. It's in the hands of those who are brave enough to expose the truth, no matter the cost. Just as the protagonist begins to piece together the puzzle, a devastating betrayal shakes them to their core. The ally they had trusted, someone who had stood by their side through thick and thin, reveals their true allegiance. The truth hits like a thunderclap. The ally is a sleeper agent, planted by the alien forces to manipulate humanity's response to the invasion. The moment of revelation is agonizing, as the protagonist tries to comprehend the magnitude of the deception. "You think I don't remember?" the ally hisses, their eyes now glowing with an unnatural light. The words cut through the protagonist's mind like a blade. The feeling of betrayal runs deep, a betrayal of everything they held dear. Their once safe world is shattered, and the weight of the decision ahead feels unbearable. The question remains, can the protagonist trust anyone anymore? With their trust shattered and the alien forces drawing ever closer, the protagonist is left to face the staggering consequences of this new reality. The world around them feels like a blur of paranoia, with every face a potential enemy. As they attempt to regain some semblance of control, the protagonist begins to see the first signs of mass panic. People are starting to understand the truth, though they don't yet know the full extent of it. News reports are filled with conflicting stories, some blaming the government, others blaming the alien invaders. The protagonist knows the time to act is now. The question is, where do they even begin? Who can they trust? A sense of urgency pervades the air, and every decision feels like it could be the difference between survival and destruction. As they move through the city, the protagonist's mind races, unable to escape the fear that has taken hold of their heart. The protagonist's desperate search for answers leads them to a secret underground facility, a hidden government base long abandoned. It's here that they hope to find the information they need to take down the alien invaders and expose the government's role in the conspiracy. As they move deeper into the facility, they encounter a chilling sight: rows upon rows of cryogenic pods, each containing human figures suspended in stasis. The protagonist's mind races, trying to make sense of this horrifying discovery. Were these people involved in the alien conspiracy, or were they simply victims? Among the pods, the protagonist stumbles upon an unsettling message. It's clear now, the aliens have been manipulating human genetics for years, creating sleeper agents, preparing the next phase of their invasion. The protagonist feels the weight of the truth settle in their chest. There's no going back now. It's a race against time to expose the truth before the aliens make their move. As the protagonist absorbs the terrifying revelations, they are confronted with an agonizing truth. The time for subtlety is over. The government factions that have been collaborating with the alien invaders are too powerful to be stopped with conventional means. The protagonist must now make a choice that will alter the course of history: expose the truth to the world and risk everything, or work with the alien forces to fight back, knowing full well that doing so could mean losing their humanity forever. In the stillness of the underground facility, the protagonist's mind races through every possible scenario, each more impossible than the last. With alien ships hovering just above the atmosphere and human forces divided, there seems to be no clear answer. But one thing is certain: the protagonist's actions will determine the future of humanity. With one last glance at the stasis pods, they make their decision, the weight of their choice pressing heavily on their heart. The protagonist's mind is reeling from the revelations of the past few days, but the truth is undeniable. The alien forces are not here by accident. Humanity has been manipulated from the very beginning. As they dig deeper into the conspiracy, a chilling realization dawns. The government's collaboration with the invaders has been part of a much larger, far-reaching plan, one that stretches across the galaxy. The aliens, it seems, have been pulling the strings for years, and humanity has been a pawn in their game all along. But this discovery is only the beginning. The protagonist uncovers evidence that suggests the alien invasion is merely the next phase of an even darker plot. The real enemy, they now know, is not the alien invaders themselves, but the humans who have sold out their own kind for power, wealth, and control. The lines between friend and foe blur as the protagonist realizes that everyone around them may be playing a part in this massive deception. The protagonist's search for answers takes a personal turn when they uncover a hidden truth about their own family. In an encrypted file, they find a shocking revelation. Their bloodline is directly connected to the alien plot. For generations, their ancestors have been unwittingly entangled with the extraterrestrial forces, their actions shaping the course of humanity's future in ways they never could have imagined. The protagonist feels their world unravel as they learn that they were never meant to be a bystander in this war. Their own existence is intricately tied to the larger scheme. The realization is both empowering and terrifying. How can they fight an enemy that has been part of their lineage for centuries? The protagonist struggles to comprehend what this means for their identity and their role in the coming conflict. Are they a savior, a weapon, or just another pawn in a game that has been playing out for centuries? The protagonist's sense of identity is shattered. They can no longer ignore the undeniable truth. They are part of something much larger than themselves. The past that they thought was theirs is now tainted by the realization that their bloodline has been tied to the alien invasion for centuries. They are forced to confront the legacy of their ancestors and the part they will inevitably play in the coming war. As they struggle with this internal conflict, the protagonist receives a message from a mysterious source, a figure who claims to know more about their family's connection to the aliens. The figure reveals a stunning truth. The protagonist's family was chosen as an integral part of the alien plan from the very beginning, and their role is not one of victimhood, but of power. They are meant to lead the human resistance, not as a savior, but as a figurehead who will unite the fractured world against the alien threat. The protagonist's heart races as they realize the magnitude of their responsibility. The protagonist struggles with the decision of whether to embrace their newfound role or reject it. The choice is agonizing. On one hand, they could fight back, lead humanity in a desperate bid for survival. On the other, they could walk away, relinquishing the power and the responsibility that has been thrust upon them. The pressure of this decision is overwhelming. As they reflect on the truth about their family's legacy, the protagonist is torn between their sense of self and the larger forces at play. Can they trust this newfound destiny, or is it merely another layer of manipulation? Meanwhile, the alien forces are closing in. The world is on the brink of collapse, and time is running out. The protagonist knows that they must decide quickly, but every option seems like a path to damnation. The weight of humanity's survival is now in their hands, and the cost of failure is unthinkable. After what feels like an eternity of inner turmoil, the protagonist makes their decision. They can no longer stand by and watch humanity succumb to the alien forces. With a heavy heart, they step into the role that fate has carved out for them, knowing that it's not just their life at stake, but the future of every person on Earth. The protagonist takes the first steps toward leading the human resistance, gathering those who are willing to fight back. It's not a victory. It's the first glimmer of hope in a world that seems consumed by darkness. But as they prepare for the battle ahead, the protagonist knows that the hardest fight is yet to come. Their family's legacy is both a blessing and a curse, and they must now face the consequences of their actions. The war is far from over, but at least for now, the protagonist is no longer a pawn. They are the one who will lead humanity's charge against the alien invaders. Adol. The time has come for the protagonist to face the truth of their legacy and their role in this war. With the world teetering on the brink of collapse, the protagonist must make the ultimate decision: to fight with the alien technology they have uncovered, risking their humanity, or to expose the truth to the world, knowing it could break society in ways that might be irreparable. The weight of this decision feels unbearable. As the protagonist stands in the command center, surrounded by resistance fighters and the last remnants of humanity's leadership, they feel the eyes of the world on them. The alien ships are closer than ever, and the government's hold on the planet is rapidly unraveling. With each passing minute, the stakes grow higher. The protagonist knows that they cannot afford to hesitate. But the cost of their decision is more than they can fathom. Every choice they make will lead them down a path where there may be no turning back. As the protagonist grapples with their decision, they receive a cryptic message from an unexpected source. It's an encrypted communication, originating from an ally within the government. The message contains vital information, evidence that the alien forces have infiltrated the highest levels of government and military, and that the invasion is not just about conquest. It's about domination, control, and rewriting the very fabric of humanity's future. The protagonist feels a surge of anger, realizing that the invasion is only the beginning of a much larger, insidious plan. The message includes a directive: take the alien technology and use it to turn the tide of the war. The protagonist is now faced with an even more difficult choice: use the technology and fight back, or expose the truth and risk humanity's collapse. The clock is ticking, and the decision can no longer be delayed. The protagonist, now fully aware of the scale of the government's betrayal, begins to prepare for the final confrontation. The alien technology that could turn the tide of the war is within reach, but so is the knowledge of the human cost. The protagonist stands in the heart of the Resistance's command center, looking over the plans for an all-out assault on the alien fleet. The stakes could not be higher. The protagonist's internal conflict reaches its peak as they realize the gravity of their actions. Will they be able to wield the alien technology without losing themselves in the process? As the Resistance prepares for battle, the protagonist takes one last moment to reflect on what they've learned, and the horrifying realization that the war has already been lost on some levels. The final decision is not just about winning, it's about ensuring humanity's survival at all costs. The weight of history presses down on them, and the protagonist knows that the next step could be their last. The moment of truth has arrived. The protagonist steps onto the battlefield, the weight of their decision evident in every movement. The alien fleet hovers ominously in the sky, its ships blocking out the sun. The battle lines are drawn, and the Resistance fighters stand united in the face of certain death. The protagonist knows that using the alien technology is their only chance to win. But there's a price. As they prepare to launch the first strike, memories of everything they've lost flood their mind. The betrayals, the pain, the uncertainty. It all leads to this moment. The protagonist faces the alien fleet, knowing that their use of the technology could change the course of history forever. With a single order, they initiate the assault, their heart racing with both hope and fear. The battle begins, but even as they fight, they know that the true cost of this war may not be paid in blood, but in the soul of humanity itself. The battle is fierce, and as the protagonist unleashes the alien technology, the tide begins to turn. The Resistance's forces are empowered by the technology, and for the first time they are able to fight back with equal strength. But the victory comes at a steep price. The alien technology is powerful, but it is also corrupting. The protagonist feels the pull of its influence, the danger of losing themselves to its power. As the final strike is delivered and the alien fleet begins to retreat, the protagonist knows that this victory is only temporary. The war is not over, but humanity has won a critical battle. The protagonist, however, is left with a heavy realization. The alien technology has changed them, and they are no longer the person they were before. As they stand among the wreckage of the battle, they understand that the true cost of war is not just measured in lives lost, but in the soul of those who fight. The aftermath of the battle leaves the world forever changed. Though the alien fleet has retreated, the scars of the war are everywhere. The protagonist surveys the devastation. A world that was once thriving, now reduced to rubble. Cities lie in ruins, entire populations are displaced, and the global economy is in free fall. But amid the destruction, there's a strange sense of hope. The alien technology has been turned against them, and humanity has gained a foothold in this war. The protagonist walks through the devastated streets, the weight of their decisions settling heavily on their shoulders. The cost of victory is evident in every corner of the world. Lives have been lost, families torn apart, and the trust of the people shattered. Yet, the protagonist knows one thing for certain: humanity has shown it can survive. But what kind of world will remain? The answers are unclear, and the future remains uncertain. The protagonist's role in this new world is still to be determined. In the days following the battle, the protagonist works tirelessly with the remaining leaders of the resistance to rebuild. While the world reels from the aftermath, small victories emerge. The human spirit is resilient, and as the rubble is cleared, so too is the fog of fear that had gripped the world. The alien forces may have retreated for now, but their influence lingers. New governments are forming. Alliances are being forged, and a fragile peace is taking shape. The protagonist watches from the sidelines, unsure of their place in this new world. They have led humanity to this point, but the future is not something they can control. Still, there is a quiet sense of accomplishment. The war may not be over, but humanity has survived, and that in itself is a victory. Yet the protagonist knows that the coming years will not be easy. There are still shadows lingering in the corners of society, and the true consequences of the alien invasion have yet to unfold. As the weeks pass, the protagonist becomes increasingly haunted by the choices they made during the war. They were willing to sacrifice everything for humanity's survival, but now they are left to face the consequences of their actions. The alien technology they used to fight back still hums in the background of their mind, a constant reminder of the price of victory. The protagonist knows that using such power has left its mark, not just on their soul, but on the world itself. Rumors begin to spread of strange occurrences around the globe, people affected by the alien technology, developing abilities that were never part of human evolution. There are whispers of a new breed of human, born from the alien influence. The protagonist is confronted by the first signs of these changes in themselves and others. The technology's grip is far stronger than they realized. What they thought was a temporary solution may, in fact, be the beginning of an even darker chapter. As the protagonist grapples with their own transformation, they seek out those who were once allies, hoping to find some semblance of comfort and understanding. They are met with mixed reactions. Some fear the changes in the protagonist, others seek to harness the power that has emerged. The protagonist is torn, unsure whether they are becoming a hero or a monster. The world is on the brink of a new age, and the protagonist's role in this future remains uncertain. Some view them as a savior, while others fear the very power that saved them. Even the resistance, now reformed into a new government, looks at the protagonist with suspicion. As the protagonist walks through the streets of a newly rebuilt city, they realize that the world they fought for is not the world they envisioned. Their place in it is still unclear, and the consequences of their actions are just beginning to unfold. The protagonist stands at the edge of a new world, looking out over a city that, though scarred, is beginning to heal. The alien threat may have been pushed back, but the damage done to humanity's soul is far deeper. The protagonist's final choice looms over them: continue the fight, or leave behind the legacy of war. As they look out at the horizon, the protagonist understands that their journey is far from over. There is no going back, only forward. The future will be shaped not just by the survivors, but by the ones who led them through the darkness. The protagonist whispers to themselves, "This isn't the end, it's just the beginning." The world may have changed, but humanity has proven its resilience. The battle for the future has only just begun. Despite the victory over the alien forces, a new threat looms large. The protagonist, now a reluctant leader, begins to understand that the alien invasion was only one part of a much more complex and insidious plan. New information surfaces that suggests the extraterrestrial forces may have left behind a sleeper agent network embedded in human society, waiting for the right moment to strike. This shadow war, orchestrated by hidden factions of both human collaborators and alien sympathizers, is far from over. The protagonist's thoughts are filled with dread as they realize that the alien forces' retreat may have only been a strategic pause. A new breed of enemy is emerging, one that is more dangerous because it blends seamlessly into human society. The protagonist knows they cannot face this new threat alone. Alliances must be forged, and trust must be rebuilt. The battle for the soul of humanity is about to enter a far darker phase. As the protagonist assembles a team to uncover and combat the growing sleeper cell network, they must first gain the trust of their former enemies. Among them are powerful figures who once fought against them, but now they share a common enemy. These former rivals who have their own agendas bring new challenges. The protagonist knows that the stakes are higher now than ever before, and they are forced to navigate this fragile alliance carefully. The tension is palpable as they work together in the dark underbelly of the world. The once clear lines between good and evil, right and wrong, have blurred beyond recognition. The protagonist's leadership is tested as they try to maintain control of a fractured team, each person with their own motivations. The shadows of the past now loom over every decision, and even the smallest betrayal could cost them everything. The world is changing again, and the protagonist is unsure if humanity can survive the darkness yet to come. The protagonist's efforts to uncover the sleeper cells take them to the darkest corners of the world, where alien technology has already been embedded into human society. The further they dig, the more unsettling the discoveries become. Cities are plagued by strange occurrences, people acting out of character, technology malfunctioning, and whispers of alien influence in places where it was once thought impossible. The protagonist uncovers a series of encrypted messages that hint at the existence of a secret group, the true leaders of the alien infiltration, human collaborators who have been working with the invaders for years, planning their next phase. As the protagonist tracks down these hidden leaders, they come to realize that the war they fought may have been a distraction, a calculated move to shift humanity's attention while the true invasion was happening quietly, in plain sight. The protagonist feels a growing sense of despair as they realize the true enemy is not an alien force, it's the darkness within human nature itself. As the protagonist delves deeper into the conspiracy, they begin to experience strange, inexplicable changes in themselves. The alien technology they once used to fight is now manifesting its influence more overtly. At first it was subtle, flickers of intuition, heightened senses, but now it's becoming impossible to ignore. The protagonist feels themselves slipping, becoming more attuned to the alien presence that once seemed so distant. They question whether they are still human, or whether they are becoming something else entirely. As the changes accelerate, the protagonist is forced to confront the possibility that the alien technology's grip on them has become too strong to escape. The line between human and alien is blurring, and the protagonist realizes that they may be the key to the future of both species. The question remains, will they retain their humanity, or will they become a harbinger of the very thing they fought against? The protagonist, now fully aware of the alien influence on their own body, faces a heart-wrenching decision. They could use the newfound power to defeat the growing alien forces, but doing so may mean permanently losing themselves to the technology. The team is growing desperate, and the threat of the alien sleeper cells is reaching a boiling point. There is no time left to find a way around the protagonist's transformation. The world is on the brink of total collapse, and the protagonist's choices are now tied to the fate of humanity itself. Standing at the precipice of this terrifying new reality, the protagonist must decide whether to sacrifice their own humanity for the greater good, or risk the destruction of everything they've fought for. In the quiet moments before the final decision, the protagonist contemplates the true cost of the war and the future they are about to create. The world is changing, and they are the only one who can control its destiny. The world is changed. The protagonist stands on the precipice of a new age, staring into the chaos that still lingers in the wake of the alien invasion. Humanity has survived, but at what cost? The protagonist's body is still marked by the alien technology, a constant reminder of what they've sacrificed. The once clear lines between humanity and the alien forces are now blurred, and the future is uncertain. As they walk through the ruins of a broken city, the protagonist is haunted by the choices they made. The alien influence is still there, a dark shadow hanging over the world. Yet, amid the devastation, there is a flicker of hope. The world is starting to rebuild, slowly but surely. But the protagonist knows that this is only the beginning. The alien threat may be gone for now, but new challenges are emerging. The protagonist whispers to themselves, "The battle is over." But the war is not yet won. The protagonist's mind is filled with a deep sense of uncertainty. What does it mean to be human in a world where the line between species has been erased? The alien technology they once used to fight back now courses through their veins, altering them in ways they don't fully understand. They have become something new, something neither fully human nor alien. They are the bridge between two worlds, but that bridge is fragile. There is fear in the protagonist's heart, fear of what they have become, fear of the power they wield, and fear of the future. As they stand alone in a quiet, empty room, they wonder if they will ever find peace. The world has changed, but they still don't know if they can ever truly fit into this new reality. The burden of leadership weighs heavily on them, and the loneliness that comes with being the one who survived feels suffocating. The protagonist wonders if they will ever truly belong again. A new challenge arises as remnants of the alien forces network begin to regroup. The protagonist receives intelligence about a hidden alien faction that survived the invasion and is now planning to launch a new attack. Their strength is in numbers, and they've infiltrated key positions in human society. This discovery reignites the protagonist's sense of urgency. The battle for survival is not over. The alien forces may have retreated, but the war is far from finished. The protagonist must now gather allies and form new alliances, including those who were once enemies. The lines between loyalty and betrayal are blurred, but the protagonist understands that if they are to protect humanity's future, they must embrace this uneasy alliance. The enemy is no longer just alien, it is humanity itself, corrupted by fear, power, and greed. And the protagonist must be ready to face that darkness head-on. As the battle looms closer, the protagonist faces a decision that could define the future of both humans and aliens. They must choose whether to risk everything and launch a final desperate assault on the remaining alien forces, or to search for a new way to end the conflict without further bloodshed. The protagonist's leadership is put to the ultimate test. Should they use the alien technology at their disposal, knowing it might corrupt them further? Or should they rely on human ingenuity and unity? The stakes are higher than ever. As the protagonist prepares for the coming conflict, they are filled with a deep internal struggle. This war has cost them everything: family, friends, their own identity, and they are unsure if they have the strength to continue. But there is no turning back now. The enemy is waiting, and humanity's future rests on the choices they make in these final moments. The final battle is upon them. The protagonist leads the charge, fully aware that this might be their last stand. The alien fleet, once thought to have disappeared, has returned with a vengeance. But this time, humanity is not unprepared. Armed with the alien technology that once saved them, and with the strength of a unified human front, the protagonist pushes forward. The battle rages with unrelenting intensity, and the protagonist at the forefront fights not just for survival, but for the future of the world. As they engage in the final confrontation, they understand that the ultimate victory will not come from defeating the aliens, it will come from ensuring that humanity can thrive, free from the grip of alien influence. The protagonist faces their own final test: to lead humanity into a new era, free from the shadows of the past, and ready to reclaim their place in the universe.